been a while. It's been about 3 weeks since the last video I posted. So, I'm going to explain why. Alright, hopefully that worked. Welcome
Yeah.
back.
Oh, yeah, that's even weirder. It's like waiting. It's scheduled to go live at 4:32.
Yeah, which is weird, so.
Yeah, Oh, we're a little past that already.
Okay, it says it's live now. Okay, there it goes. Strange. But now is Twitch fucked up? No, okay.
I got Twitch on.
Alright, it's gone. Oh.
There we go.
Well, for people in the VOD, we tried streaming and it didn't work on YouTube's end for some reason. So so here we are, back on live. We were talking about, didn't miss anything. We were talking about how hot it was where we live.
Yeah, it might be dropping soon. I just checked my weather, like how hot it is. I haven't been outside. Apparently Monday it's going to be raining. We'll see if that's true at all.
Yeah.
I doubt it.
I mean, we get a little bit of rain here, but global warming.
Yeah,
apparently it was 90 degrees in Oslo.
Aye.
That's really, really hot for Norway.
That is, from what I understand of the climate over there. Yeah, that's a lot. Like, we had a big old heat wave like last week, but once it starts cooling down, it's gonna be so much nicer. I need AC wherever I live. I can't have it be over like 70 degrees. That's too much.
Yeah, problem here is it's just humid.
Yeah, I'll take humidity over just absolutely dry as shit. Having lived in even in Japan, which is insanely humid, kind of prefer it.
But anyway, yeah, next week it's gonna be crazy.
A lot of cool shit, like Warcry, which I kind of forgot was happening next week. I keep forgetting when that dang book comes out.
Yeah, I mean, technically right now I think you can get the PDF just like right now, or maybe that's still a subscription. I'm not sure. Also, you know, it's also really hyped. Paizo finally actually getting a whole new website.
Oh my god, actually?
Actually, yes.
That's big.
That's huge.
I love you, Paizo, but your website sucks.
It is kind of garbage, not gonna lie. I also love Paizo. They send me free stuff, but it can be a pain a lot of the time. So, yeah, we have a lot of games coming out like next week. We have Starfinder 2E, which is coming out next week.
Oh, hell yeah.
We have Cosmere RPG coming out next week.
So pumped.
The Discord officially announced it to be the 23rd, so next Wednesday. And next week, we are going to be chatting about a lot of that, and we have some guests that we'll be talking to. So can't say who they are quite yet. It's a little bit embargo-y, but just know it's going to be a pretty good time.
Which
Go ahead.
does that mean around next week? Is that when we're starting our new Tuesday game, or is that going to be the week after?
Has to be the week after.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
Because Tuesday is embargo.
Yeah.
So the
I
following
have to
Tuesday.
touch up Baranor.
Yeah.
I have to remember what I gave him, because I remember making him and then being like, I need to adjust this. And then they removed all the shit off Demi plane.
Yeah.
So I lost his sheet. It's fine.
But this is also really interesting because, to be fair, right, D&D has never been really coming out with anything huge during Gen Con, which is crazy now that when you think about it, right? Gen
It is
Con,
goofy.
it's like literally the gaming event of the year since like a lot of other gaming events closed. And
And
D&D
nothing.
has almost never like actually come out. I think maybe they did something last year for 2024.
Last year, I remember, because I always bring it up. Last year for Gen Con was when they just did a bunch of panels and they gave those takes that baffled us for weeks and weeks on end. Maybe we need less classes. That was Gen Con.
Yeah. Maybe.
So that's all that happened last time.
Barbarian is just a subclass of fighter.
Yeah, exactly. Which is even funnier because I've been watching the new Dimension 20 actual play.
Yes.
Which is it's really cool. Like I really like what they're doing. Obviously it's very fun. I prefer all the roleplay bits to the combat. But they're all using custom made stuff. Like custom made classes.
Yeah.
And they're like shouting out in their adventuring party. They're like talking about who designed it. Like they have in-house designers. They have third-party companies they're working with, and they both have like subclasses and then actual classes. And it's interestingly designed, where it's like, oh, a gunslinger. Like I like the gunslinger class Matthew Mercer made, but I think the one they're kind of showing off in this is a bit cooler.
Yeah,
because it has like a lot of mechanics to it. There's a pugilist class that they're doing. And it's really sick, like the stuff it works with, because it's a lot of nice resource management. And also it's a grappler build for D&D, and it actually works well.
Yeah.
So that's always a plus. They could come out with such cool shit. They just don't.
Though, yeah, it just further iterates on the idea that D&D sucks and you have to make it cool.
You have to really work to make it cool.
Which is sad. But at the same time, like, we would be singing a very different tune if it was just like a game designed to have more like customizability, you know?
Yeah.
Like if it was a game that was designed to make like your own classes and archetypes, then that would be a different story. We'd be like, oh yeah, that's really cool that you could do that with this system. But no, they just have to make pretty much whole new rules and redefine how things work to make stuff for D&D.
Yeah. You gotta like do a lot of pushing and pulling. And there's really good examples of like how it can run well and operate. It's lifting on like multiple ends.
Yeah.
Because definitely a chunk of it's due to editing and the idea that this is like basically a shoot rather than like a full D&D game.
Yeah.
But I really like how the Dimension 20 games are actually run. It's very efficient in the time it has. I like the moments you can tell Brennan is like figuring out in the moment how to push the story along, no matter like what they're suggesting like be done.
Right.
Because there's literally, from what looks like a session that just happened that I just watched, that was prompted because of a running joke that kept happening, and then they just went with it. And he's like, I had this all other thing planned, but you know what? You took this joke seriously, so now we have to go to the South Pole. And then like there's a lot of cool shit that just came out of it. And it's like, oh yeah, damn. Like that's how you use the space and yes and. I also know from like other little shows they've done that even though this is a production, like there's a lot of weight in what happens, because he has said like if a character dies, they're dead. And that's a terrifying thing, as both like you're a GM looking your player in the eyes, they could die, and also a producer of a very popular show realizing a character might die in front of you and this character's a fan favorite with merch. It's like, yeah, that is scary.
So yeah, it's I don't know. It's hard to look at D&D for anything other than what it is when people keep doing such cool stuff with it. Because it's like, is it bad, or is it just like perfectly like half built? You know what I mean? Like the perfect frame for whatever game you want to run, right? Because that was kind of their design principle when they were making a lot of it, which is, we're not going to tell you what to do, you can make it up. That's the fun of tabletop, right? And people do that and have been doing that and have been doing it quite successfully. So did they succeed at their design choice? It seems so silly.
It is like, it's very goofy that that's the thing that works. Like I firmly believe like the popularity of it, a large chunk of it is just because that's simplicity, and then you have that kind of simplicity where you can take the framework of it and put it anywhere, which is where you get the really annoying meme of like, well, like, oh, check out my cool cyberpunk hack for D&D.
Yeah,
if only there was a game, if only there was a game that worked for this better. But like, it's kind of what it is, and it's every GM I've like spoken to who like loves doing D&D. That's always the point they have, is they like that there's a game that they can make theirs, because like other games might have just all those little bits that like they have to learn it, and then over that time they get to learn like what to alter with it. But with D&D, just there's the ease of learning it, and then you can really quickly start to adapt it into a game that's just yours. Every GM has like all of their different house rules and ways they run things.
Yeah.
So like it's that extent of like, you put in all that work and it's not the perfect tabletop game. You've made it your perfect tabletop game because you've added shit you like to it.
Yeah. So it's, I don't know. I mean, there's definitely parts you could look and you can just say objectively this is bad, because it's like Ranger was just completely useless for a lot of stuff besides one or two of their subtypes. And then they just had to come out with essentially rules to be like, hey, swap out all the bad Ranger features and now Ranger's good.
Yeah, like it is the game where I think the homebrew is just so actually interesting, and all the third-party companies that are doing like a lot of heavy lifting. I don't think I would ever really seek out to try to play an old like core book class and subclass at all.
Yeah.
But then every time I see some, like the new thing they're working on right now, like the psychic, I think looked interesting mechanically. It looked like a really interesting design, like a step above what Warlock is.
Yeah.
And then every third party thing I keep finding, all these like classes and stuff, I'm like, oh, there's like mechanics to this.
Yeah.
That's what's fun. You have toys now that you can like play around with. Sure, there's still not a lot of like horizontal leveling in that system, but when someone else takes it and adds mechanical depth to it, it's like, oh hell yeah.
Yeah, so it's an interesting thing to think about how, you know, D&D has just become this mecca for game design in a way, for all the wrong reasons. Like,
yeah, you'd hope that it's because a game is just like insanely like what it's doing is super cool.
Yeah.
That promotes a lot of like developers to work on it, because it's an interesting bit where I'm way less willing to seek out Pathfinder third-party stuff. I think there's a lot of great third-party stuff in the space.
Yeah.
Like a lot of cool ones. But my first thought isn't to go check there first.
Yeah.
Because in Pathfinder, there's just so many cool things I could do. I'm currently tinkering at how to make an unarmed swashbuckler build. Because I think it sounds very fun.
I recently have made a monk build I absolutely want to play.
Hell yeah.
And everyone who knows anything about Pathfinder builds is gonna cringe at the thought, but cringe because it's just so stock standard. But it's a monk wrestler build.
I mean, you always gotta take Titan wrestler if you're going.
No, the wrestler archetype.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, it's a really good one to take.
It's an insanely good archetype, but I really like the clinging shadow stance, and the wrestler archetype makes it really, really good. So,
yeah, I have I'm trying to prep a Pathfinder character. I'm trying to figure out a fun way to do it. Because unarmed swashbuckler works. It is a thing you can physically do. Because the panache and all that applies to unarmed attacks. Since your unarmed attacks are technically like finesse weapons. Which I just learned that for the first time today. It's like, oh wait, yeah, this counts for your like the type of weapon you could use. I think the scaling for unarmed is the same as your like weapons with swashbuckler too. Because you start out like everyone starts out trained, but like I think
well,
it goes
any
up
class
at the
that
same
gets any
time,
weapon training also does unarmed at the same rate.
which is great. But the thing I'm trying to do, I want to play this type of character down the line because it's so against type of what I do. I want to play a character who is that really rich, maybe like a noble kind of guy who is full on like his money is made in that adventuring style. It
Yeah.
is inspired by like the Cloudbird Ho campaign because I just really love that vibe of like the pulp adventure novel, where it's just funded by a crazy rich man
Yeah.
who is absurdly stupid, but he's very buff and somehow he has a lot of money. For some reason, he's made great financial decisions, despite his really shit intelligence. And I love that character archetype a lot because the way I think of it is Saxon Hale from the TF2 comics. That's exactly who he is. And I want to try that because it'd be a fun roleplay challenge because it's so against what I do.
Yeah. That's fair.
I normally play the criminal a lot. I don't play the well-to-do businessman.
Hello, Luck. Hi, Dead Phoenix. Luck, pretty much both, so you don't gotta worry. Whatever platform you're more comfortable on.
It's a merged chat at the, like on screen, so
yeah. I will say we'll get more chatters typically in Twitch, but not always. It depends.
I think that's just because the Twitch service for chatting is just a little easier.
Yeah, it's better.
Like on the chatter side.
But yeah, no, like, yeah, and well, see, the crazy thing is, right, is I don't know if you would say you're less interested in third party for Pathfinder because it's less interesting, or just because Pathfinder has actual really good designers who make actually really good things, and when it comes to D&D, you kind of just have to think the opposite.
Yeah, like you slap down a giant toy box in front of me, and I'm actively looking through it. And then you slap another one down, like, it's like, I haven't finished this one.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I have so many other things I'm looking at. I don't have the time. There's some cool ones. The one that I'm very interested in is Magus touched by Eldritch Osiris games. So
Yeah.
I've from that kind of shit, I'm interested.
Yeah, honestly, Magus is the only class that I would like. Give me a good homebrew. Make me like Magus.
Yes.
I hate Spell Strike. I'm going to say I hate how Spell Strike is designed. I thoroughly dislike it. I wish it was done in just a different way.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Magus is bad, mechanically speaking.
It is not bad.
It's not. I just don't like the way it feels. It
feels weird. It feels wonky. But the problem is, Magus is just so actually cool on paper. Like, that's like when you're reading everything and like it is some of the coolest subclasses where you're like going through, you're like, man, this kind of rips. But you know, playing it is gonna feel weird and not great.
Yeah.
I do want to try out the ranged one at some point because I've heard that one feels better. I don't know how much it will, and also the idea of a gun Magus sounds sick. But I have to play my champion gunslinger first, and then my necromancer gunslinger first. I have a lot of gunslingers.
Also, I am so stoked for Commander.
I'm so sick for Guardian. I'm so ready.
I feel the way that Pathfinder 2e Druid, it feels really, really bland, and I don't really get it, you know? You know what? Honestly, I kind of agree. I don't...
Druid is... it's kind of boring. I say
I
that...
don't trust what you say, Alex.
Okay. My full opinion that I rip all the time is Druid sucks because nature magic is boring and cringe. The more nuanced take, I have made 3 attempts with Druid builds, because I do like every once in a while as like a nice wind down meditative thing. I just make a build for every class in the game. It's fun. For Druid, it's tough because I keep looking through all the mechanics Druid has, and I'm like, I feel like I could just play Wizard and get the same thing out of it. Like
Yeah.
I'm playing in a route I don't want to be playing. It's not even an optimized thing. The one concept I think is fun is I think the Wildfire Druid is a cool concept. Like that is interesting. And then I had the tree people. I was like, oh, what if I just make a guy who's like a tender of the forest, but like to the fact that occasional wildfires are actually a good thing for an environment. Because that could be a cool concept. Everything else, I don't know, man. It's all right. Not interesting.
Yeah, unfortunately what it boils down to for Druid is Druid doesn't have its own mechanics really.
Yeah, I think it's the best way to put it.
Because like it has some interesting focus spells, true, but it's not a focus spell based class. Druid has an animal companion, and I would say that if anything makes it more interesting than other spellcasters, is it's a spellcaster, a full spellcaster who gets, just as much good use out of animal companion as most other classes, besides technically ranger, because ranger can share its hunter's edge with its animal companion. But
is the only thing with Druid, like, do you get wild shape at base?
No, it's a specific order thing.
Oh, that's what I thought. Yeah, like I was wanting to say like, oh, like their wild shape thing. And I was like, wait, I think you have to pick that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's a good point, like a good way to frame it. Because like which is the class again? It's Witch. That's like the very focus point heavy spellcaster.
Not really. I mean,
right?
Yes, kind of, but not really. Witch is heavy familiar, and they have good hex cantrips that are very solid. The big focus point based classes are the psychic and the oracle.
Okay, I might have been mixing up Witch and Oracle. So I remember like one of those two, the focus spells are just like way bigger of a deal.
And I think Animist to some degree, but I haven't honestly tinkered around.
Animist is more switching between two like different spell books, kinda. Like
that's true. Yeah, no, they changed it for Oracle, so it's not even Oracle as much anymore because they went more curse bound route. They still have good focus stuff, but they don't have the same mechanical focus on it as they used to.
And even then, like psychic, while having a lot of focus point stuff, feels way more like it's like buffing your cantrips to be like a lot better. You're utilizing cantrips a lot more.
Yeah.
Druids just you don't got a lot. You don't got a lot to play with. You're playing with the primal spells, which there's a lot of cool primal spells. But yeah, I think just they don't have anything that feels specifically theirs.
Yeah.
And then all this kind of like supplements they've added after when it comes to like from core to Druid, I think are the cooler parts of it. Because they do have a cultivation one. And that one is a bit more interesting.
Yeah, I mean, as far as Druid is concerned, honestly, mechanically speaking, its only interesting thing is it's a full caster that can get all the animal companion feats like in its tree. So you get the full benefits of being a full caster while having the extra action economy benefited to a character who uses an animal companion. Taking Beastmaster works more or less the same. It depends on one, if you're playing in a game that has bonus archetype or not, which to be fair, bonus archetype is just the best rule, but that's just my opinion.
I agree.
But also Druid can have the animal companion fully and also bonus archetype into something else and have some extra flair on top of it. So it sucks because the shape-shifting power is just contradictory mechanic wise to how classes are balanced, because when you shapeshift into a creature, you do get better at combat. You become like a half step or a step below most other marshals, But the thing
And it
is,
still counts as temp HP basically for Pathfinder as well, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
kind of. You get bonus you get temp HP with it, but you don't get a full like form of temp HP.
Oh, not like D&D does it.
No,
It's
they get like 10, 20, 30 temp HP.
More balanced.
Yeah. But and the reason why it's just not good is because if I want to play a martial shapeshifter, druid just doesn't hit the same as martial. So if it's not doing martial as good as martial, why even play it? But then you say, well, because it's balanced, right? Because when you're not shapeshifted, you're a full caster still. It's like, yes, but the thing is mechanically what I want to do is be a really good shape-shifted fighting character. You know, a martial that can change up their fighting style. That's what I want. But I'm being held back because I'm a caster. And it's like, yes, that is what has happened. So
yeah. It's like you'd have to go into it because the untamed form I think is it's the spell where you can transform polymorph into something. That'd be the only reason I would try out a druid thing. Is just the idea of going into shapeshifting.
yeah.
But they just don't have a lot of other bits to kind of set them apart. The vibe you would be going for of like why would I play druid is if you just wanted to play like a druid. Like that was the vibe you wanted. Because there's stuff I can hit with this as like, a sorcerer with certain bloodlines.
Yeah.
My witch I think is using primal spells, the long running witch build I have of the Mosquito Queen. And a lot of the spells I have on there are like polymorph kind of vibes where I turn parts of my body into creepy gross things. But druid probably just has a bunch of specific feats that make it hit harder and make it better for like the style you want.
Yeah, and I guess a slightly less fun but important thing to mention as well is for using primal spells, druid also has the best will save.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty much it compared to some other ones. Their will saves are just going to be a little bit better because they're a wisdom-based class rather than charisma or intelligence, which the other potential primal casters take from. So it's kind of sad, not gonna lie. It's not a bad class, and I have made a really, really fun druid class, my Envoy of the Lantern King build. So if you want to play a little shit, that build's really, really fun. But if you want to play anything else, it's a little bit harder. And I do think like having a full caster that is really good with animal companions is also really good. I do think mechanically speaking, if you have an animal companion, it suits casters really, really well because they always have that third action they don't know what to do with unless they're moving. And so being able to split that action into two mini actions that your animal companion gets to go and do stuff with makes you feel like, compared to other casters, like game feel wise, feels pretty good.
The actual like familiar rules and like all the pet rules are like the cool part of it.
Have we talked about Battlecry yet? No, we haven't. Or at least we mentioned it, but we haven't talked about it. Battlecry is coming. I wish I had Battlecry to talk to you all about today, but Paizo hasn't sent it to me for some reason. But they sent me other stuff, so I'm still waiting to get my Battlecry stuff.
Oh, I also just noticed something, Cam. The YouTube title is the wrong title. It's still your arguments are bad on YouTube.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, I think
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Why did it go back?
I don't know.
Next week.
But I need to look into what people are saying with Battlecry. 'Cause I need to know about the Guardian. I need it.
From generally what I've been seeing, Battlecry seems to have fixed Guardian.
Ooh. Love it. Love to see it.
I watched a little bit of Ronald's video on it.
I want to play my heavily armored Juggernaut build. I want that so bad.
I just need to complain at Paizo. Be like, where's my book?
Give me book.
Give me book. I make video, promise.
Oh yeah, you just get physical damage resistance as guard. Oh man, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it was looking good, but it had a taunt feature that just seemed bad.
The taunt felt weird.
And I'm assuming they fixed that now.
I'm checking at least the taunt stuff, just what feats we got posted. Let's see, because we all remember how it used to work. But the new one, let's see, you just make some sort of thing. You make some sort of auditory visual, whatever. Choose an enemy within 30 feet to be your taunted enemy. If your taunted enemy takes a hostile action that includes at least one of your allies but doesn't include you, they take a -1 circumstance penalty to their attack rolls and DCs for that action. They also become off guard until the start of their next turn. Your enemy remains taunted until the start of your next turn, and you can only have one taunt in effect at a time. Taunting a new enemy ends the effect on any current target.
The off guard part is actually pretty good.
That part. At first, I'm just like, oh, I mean, all right, whatever.
That's much better than it was before.
Kind of ignore it. The GM can kind of just ignore, like, all right, I get a -1, I guess, whatever. Off guard to an enemy every turn if they're like not going around it. Well, hell yeah.
Yeah, off guard. That's pretty nasty.
Yeah, I think it's a much better taunt.
And that also makes Intimidation Guardian much better, because you intimidate to get the frightened condition off, and then the enemy has to make a choice on being attacking someone else at a -2 with the taunt and being off guard, or attacking you and still suffering the -1.
And there are feats built for the requirement being the enemy you taunted ignored your taunt. And the one that I'm seeing, Proud Nail, it's a 1-action feat for level 4. If they ignore your taunt, you make them pay. You make a melee strike against your taunted enemy. If the strike hits, you deal an extra die of weapon damage. 10th level, it's 2 extra dice. 18th, it's 3.
So, it's sounding pretty good. Sounding like you can be a really, really good, super tanky, disruptor style class, which is good. That's what they want the Guardian to be, really.
And they have a stunning version of that too. You can you punch someone in the face if you're wearing a gauntlet or whatever, because you have to make a fist strike to do this. On a failure, an enemy is stunned 2. Because how dare you ignore my taunt? Let me punch you in the face real quick.
Commander,
that's what I wanted.
Is also still good, and it's got even more cool feats from what I've seen.
Hell yeah. Because Commander is going to be a class that I will look at if it's in the same game as me and be like, that's cool. I'm happy that this player's here. I will not play it. It's got stuff that I just don't find very interesting, but it's like Animist and a couple of classes like that where I will be happy to watch it in action and not play it myself.
That's true. That's true, Luck. Yeah. So hopefully hopefully soon I'll be able to get that content and give you guys some good videos. I also just don't know what else is coming out in Battlecry. Like, I know there's some army stuff and more stuff on troops and all that, but not much more beyond that.
Yeah.
So that'll be really, really interesting. Though I will say, videos will be coming out pretty slow, all things considered, because I have a baby, and that's going to make things more difficult. Also, I'm just covering multiple games at the same time, because I'm going to be covering Cosmere when that comes out, and I'm going to be covering Starfinder when that comes out.
That's gonna be sick. I'm real excited to just finally get my hands on a lot of these books.
So it's going to be really, really good. And normally this would be a much more hype stream because normally I would have it. I don't know. I think my request for the book got kind of jumbled because I requested 2 books at the same time.
Yeah, that would make sense.
So maybe I'll just send in another form.
The only way around it would be someone bite the bullet and buy the PDF right now for the subscription.
Yeah.
I cannot do. I don't got that scratch lying around.
Battlecry. Video. No deadline. All right. But Paizo's also just getting their website put together. So, you know, that they're probably also kind of busy with that. I'm so excited for that because, my God, do we need just a better website.
We really do.
Yeah, Stormlight. Stormlight is the Cosmere RPG. So,
yeah.
Stormlight is coming out next week. I'll be looking into that as well. So,
I'm also pumped because the new latest Cosmere book dropped like a few days ago.
Yeah, I remember Dark.
Yeah, and it essentially kind of just if you're going through the reading order, the one made by good old Raffo, it just kind of overwrites the novella Six of Dusk, because which is really fun. In the author's note, he's like, I thought it'd be kind of lame if I gave all my readers homework, because if this is like basically was going to be a sequel to this novella, which means you'd have to track down the novella. What if instead I just integrated the novella into the book, so you don't have to read it? So that's what he did. He made it so like now the book is broken up into like flashback sequences that are just the novel, like the novella, as the story goes on. And it's interesting, and it's got some wider. I'm excited for some later big reveals when it comes to it, because otherwise the only thing of actual importance from Six of the Dusk is you remember the strange bird or chicken Murray's had?
Yeah.
That's from this planet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's psychic birds.
Oh.
They're very expensive because one of their powers that they give people is they will warn you of danger by, like, you'll be walking around somewhere and then you'll look down and you'll see your corpse looking back up at you, and they just show you like, oh shit, you realistically could die right here. And so you can figure out in the moment what to do, how to avoid it, because they're used by people who go through these islands that are like insanely dangerous. Full, like, if this ant bites you, you die in like 3 seconds.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, it's insanely dangerous to be in, which is why I'm excited for the World Hopper book to drop. Because if we have to go through one of these jungles, oh boy.
Yeah, I'm so excited for Mistborn Era
I
2.
am so excited.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be so sick.
It's gonna be really, really good.
I recommend like getting to that point to read it before we do anything on it, because I want to know if you'll agree with my opinion that I think it'd be so fun to do a Mistborn Era 2 campaign in that style of like old-timey adventure-y, like Indiana Jones shit. Because that's what the setting already hypes up. There's a big group of people that are like the gentleman adventurers. They're just rich people who go out into the wastes and just adventure and have fun, and they write books about it and post it in the news, like in the newspaper. It's so fun. And it's like, I want to kind of do that. I want to play a pulp like Western. That sounds so sick.
It just depends if Brandon writes another campaign book for the series, because that's why we're doing Stonewalkers.
I imagine he will, because like I'm interested to see what happens, because it is the kind of setting with Mistborn where it's like the story that occurs is kind of like the story. It's hard to picture doing other things in it. Mm-hmm. That's why they didn't do Mistborn Era 1, because it's literally like you can't do anything. Like the lore it's too restricted in this area. Like the plate, you can barely leave the city. Like you can't do all this shit. It's an awful dystopia. And then right now it's a lot more open, but then some crazy bullshit's going on, like some large world spanning threats.
Yeah, at least with Stormlight, it's with the resurgence of the Radiants, you can kind of just have a story anywhere.
Yeah, you could realistically tell a story of like you're one of the Radiants, because they like side mention Radiants. You're like, yeah, there's like these guys, and it's like, so there's are people doing things in like the sidelines, but like they just weren't. I don't know, like Kaladin didn't chat with them, like Shallan didn't meet them.
Well, no, not necessarily. Like they just probably weren't a part of like the coalition, because the coalition was only Thalena, Aesir, and Elhokar.
Yeah, they might just be from somewhere else.
They're probably Reshi, or they're probably somewhere else. Also, like in Aesir, there's all kinds of infighting and there's all kinds of stuff going on. Amul, all that kind of stuff. Like there's a lot going on, and the coalition did not really exist for a super long time, nor was it like reaching out that far. Like most of the Radiants who existed in the coalition were just were 90% just windrunners that just descended from Bridge 4. And then like a handful of Lightweavers, which the books like, did mention other Lightweavers as well.
They did. There was a small chunk of them. It's just the I think it was mentioned that it might have been mentioned specifically in contrast to how Windrunners work, but like Lightweavers are just a lot more tight knit with how they do things. Because the only other bit was there was Edge Dancers and Stone Wards, where like those were the two others that were like the most prominent.
And there were not that many Edge Dancers.
No,
there were even less Stone Wards. So,
and a lot of them, from what it seemed like with the couple we met, a lot of them just kind of like it was like, oh, this is crazy. I should maybe tell somebody about it, and they tracked it down after hearing about like Eurytherian stuff.
Yeah. No, I think most of them were just connected to like whatever kingdom. Like the Stoneward guy was just an Asish like militant guy.
It's me running through the backstories from like book 4, like of the handful we met. But I think there were a couple that just like found their way to, but specifically found their way to one of the cities that had a gate, which is again very limited. It's too realistic for there to be a lot of like characters out there that we just don't know, like we don't know existed, and like just never went to the coalition, didn't live in that region. So it's super realistic to tell stories like with some depth to it, because I mean that's what's happening with this new book.
Well, and also
I
with
know a little bit
the
of some
Singer
of the implications.
Awakening, like there was war going on all over the place. Like,
oh yeah,
before the coalition even formed. So,
Roshar is very violent.
well, kind of. It's more just the listeners, regains their mind and thus didn't want to be slaves anymore. So,
Yeah, it's hard to blame them.
And to be fair, and many of them were being prodded and moved around by Odium's forces. So
yeah, but yeah, I'm excited for that game. I'm so pumped because I'm more than anything, other than the fact that I think the characters we got are really cool. Like I think we have a cool party for that game.
Yeah, I agree.
I am really pumped to learn the stuff that I've only heard the tidbits of. Because I know the tidbits from like what they've talked about in promotional material. I'm excited for like the 2 bits I know that happen. Is Nightblood is involved?
Nightblood is not involved. That was
what he is. They changed that?
Yeah.
What? That sucks, actually. I was pretty sure there was unless they literally changed that, because there was one of the things it was answering is how Nightblood got to Roshar.
That might be answered, but that it was, they had the idea, but then the timeline they were looking at it, and it's really hard for Nightblood to be anywhere else than where Nightblood is in the books.
Yeah.
For the time and place that this takes, because it starts just before the end of book 2.
There's a really short time frame to get it in Nail's hands.
Well, it's already in his hands in that book, because I believe Lift mentions one of his swords when he walks around.
I doubt he drew it.
No, he didn't draw it on her. No.
No, I don't, because I don't think he could draw it well. It's because like from the little tidbit I know, it's like it's also melding with what I know from Warbreaker, because it's an interesting weapon. It's very cool, and there was a thing it was building up. I know the Night Watcher, she's involved in this.
Yes, the Night Watcher, isn't it?
Yeah, like I remember that was a bit of promotional bit where they're like, oh, you can go to the Night Watcher. It's like, oh, sick, okay. I know there's a table. I know there's a wish table or something.
Which I guess we should just say spoiler warning for any of the Cosmere books.
Yeah, true. Because from what I know of it, these are not spoilers for like the actual adventure game at all.
No, it's just for the books in general.
Yeah, true. I remember they talked about like, oh yeah, 100%. We have mechanics to go hang out with the Night Watcher and go make a wish. It's like, oh, sick. That's really fun. If you introduce that into your world, I want to play with it.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Back onto the subject, because I guess we've been hopping around talking about the hype things coming out. Starfinder's also coming out, and I'm just excited for Pathfinder with guns.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Don't worry, I kind of just loaded up Horse Game. Not you too, Dead Phoenix. Everyone's playing the Horse Game.
Listen. The game itself is very fun. I wish it was just horses.
Because it does seem really fun.
It's really fun. It is like I hate the fact that it is like anime women. I wish it was just horses, because I think I'd be way more interested. Like it is just one of those games where it is a very satisfying management simulator, because you are micromanaging like a fuck ton of like different variables. And then you look into it and you're like, why does this game have so much depth? It is literally like the same type of shit as playing like Football Manager, but you are specifically coaching a single anime woman. Like it's free. You could try it if because the way
it now.
Oh my god. Oh, we have don't worry. My fiance and I have a club, so you can get in the club and we can get some good old resources.
I'll join your pretty horse club.
Yeah, it's called it's called Gamers for God. So, uh, the because the part of the part of the game you can try out.
Hold on, 1 second. The stream. I just wanted to download the game. Oh no, I'm sorry, everyone.
I have
I need to mute this. There it goes.
Yeah, that's blasting. Yeah. The Persona one, I've heard that like the gacha system of that's a lot better, but the game itself is all right. I'm like the gacha system for this horse game. It's you know a gacha system. The thing that's interesting is you can just steal stuff from your friends that have more money than you. So like if someone has like the really good meta card or the meta horse, you can just yoink their shit and like that's half the work you get to do. But just to see if you like it, the way I recommend it is the tutorial sucks. Just rush through the tutorial. You don't need to read anything. Then do a single career mode. Turn it on like shortened event, quick skip. You're reading no dialogue. You're reading nothing. You are rushing through the menus, and you will experience peak.
But what if I want to see my horse girl have a idol concert after winning a horse derby?
I'd find that deeply embarrassing too. But like, if you want your career mode to also last like a career lasts like 20 something minutes already because it's just how much you're doing. If I didn't have shortened events and like a fast skip on, I can't imagine how long these games would take for people.
Yeah,
like it's insane. They talk so much, and I've compressed the events to the smallest amount they can be, and they won't shut the fuck up. They have a lot of things they want to say and talk about, and I probably don't care. Yeah, I'm never gonna spend money on a horse game or even Persona 1 if I play it. Because I like Persona 3 and 4. That's the only reason I'd play it. Yeah, it is multiple hours if you're reading average. It looks like it. It looks like it from how much text I'm skipping.
I'll check it out. I promise.
Yeah. Just doing the tutorial and then the career run. It's like a nice like 30-minute little session, and then that after that you can see if you just will never play it again.
Yeah.
It is really funny how much this game is just taking people, just taking them over, just because like they made a very satisfying management sim.
Yeah. Oh, all right. So that's being downloaded. I'll lose my soul here. And to be fair, I am playing a gacha right now that I actually really enjoy. Mori Men's. It's just Eldritch Horror gacha, which considering the 333, it makes a lot of sense.
Is that the what is that? Lord of Mysteries?
No.
Oh,
I do have a game coming out soon, which I will be definitely interested in, and I hope it's good. But no, it's very different, but it's very interesting.
I saw the anime is a thing now for it. I gotta watch it.
It's okay. I mean, okay. So production value wise, Lord of Mysteries is really good. Lord of Mysteries is really good. Really good. Really good production. The pacing is insane. It doesn't slow down until the 4th episode. So the first episode, a lot of shit is happening, and you're just going to be lost and confused.
Huh. I will keep that in mind.
So, yeah, it's a good anime if you've read the light novel, or the the web novel. But it's interesting. It looks good. It seems like an interesting world. What also kind of sucks is for some reason Crunchyroll cut out a lot of additional episode stuff for it, like little mini episodes at the end of them that kind of explain more of the world lore and everything like that. And they cut it out for some reason, which makes no sense.
Huh. That is weird. It's like if I'm You know, if you're putting an anime on your service, put the whole thing. Don't like
Yeah.
cut things for me.
So it's like it does slow down around the fourth episode and it gets a lot more coherent. But I would say the web novel has been better than the anime, but that's,
Okay.
you know, maybe I've turned into one of those people who read a manga before it turned into an anime and are just like, this anime is garbage. It doesn't talk about all the cool things.
Which I mean does happen.
It does
A lot.
happen.
Sometimes it is just true. Like the book
Yeah.
or manga or comic or whatever is just better. Uh, and you know it's a tough part because translate. Well, it's a little easier with a comic kind of style to translate it to a visual medium. Just any sort of written down thing is always hard to transfer because like what you see in a panel and a page is going to be way different timing wise when it comes to like visual action.
Well, it's also hard because like written medias can just go more into detail. And sometimes
The big one is just what a character's thinking. Like they'll state things that you just can't transfer.
there's that, but even more than that, it's just like Lord of the Mysteries is a very slow burn novel. Like the first few episodes covered like 20-30 chapters, which is a lot
Jesus.
for an episode.
Yeah, that's the problem with like slow burn stuff is like sometimes you have to rush through it because you're working with time constraints and like much stronger time restrictions. Because it's the bit where I largely read stuff through audiobook because it's just the easiest for me, like at work. And the best way I picture things is as I'm listening to these books, I'm like, all right, let's say I'm translating this to TV. How would I do this? And now in my reread of Mistborn Era 2, where I'm going through it, I'm like, okay, this scene right here would have to be condensed like this, or like you'd have to add in an extra scene explaining something, because you have the luxury of it being like, this is how this power works. And like, okay, cool, that is how this thing works. How do I show that? Because you have to like visually demonstrate it with like a bit of exposition. How do you put that in naturally?
Yeah, well, to be fair, they very intelligently grouped up certain events in Lord of Mysteries to make it make more sense. So some things happen differently in the anime than they do in the web novel, but that's because, you know, they're trying to group events together more to make it more interesting rather than being more like how a novel is, where you're reading and then eventually it'll cut back to something that was referred to earlier, and that's the interesting part.
Mm-hmm.
So they've done some of that, and while it's really weird, I do get what they're going for, and nothing inherently major in the story is lost, but there is just some characterization that doesn't get done that makes it very, very weird, because the synopsis of like the first early part of the novel is a guy transmigrates, which is kind of like isekai but kind of different, transmigrates to another world, and he inhabits the body of a university student who's living in like the slums, who is becoming slowly embroiled in a bunch of supernatural like stuff that's happening. Like he kills himself because he read a cursed book, more or less, is what happens. And so he transmigrates into this person at the moment of that character's death, and then he's slowly getting pulled into this while trying to survive as someone who has like almost no money, and they have like bread is their most common meal every day and all this kind of stuff. None of this is really explained. And so when the character acts like peculiarly stingy for some reason or mentions some things, it makes no sense in the anime because they don't go into that characterization whatsoever. So
yeah, that makes sense. That just like, oh, I guess this is how this guy is.
yeah.
No, it's a different human being now.
So yeah, it's good though. Like production wise, it's really really well done. It's high quality, and like in China, Lord of the Mysteries is huge. So it's very interesting to get it over here now. But
from everything you've described, it sounds like a sick story.
It's really good, but you gotta like slow burn, and you gotta like interesting Elder Tour.
Yeah.
But I'd call it like a modern day H.P. Lovecraft.
Hell yeah. Like that vibe is always really fun. So anything that's translating it over and kind of updating it a bit.
Yeah, well, I mean, like one, it's kind of designed to be more fantasy-esque, but like the setting is not fantasy inherently. It's like Steam Revolution era. So
that's just that's the vibe I got just from like the first page. Because I was going through Crunchyroll and I was like, oh shit. Cam told me about that, and I just put on my list and like look through the episode page.
But
I was like, I gotta talk to him about that.
But yeah, so next week for sure, we're gonna have a big stream. We're gonna have some guests. We're gonna talk about some stuff that I haven't been allowed to talk about for about a month. We're gonna be getting into some really interesting things, and oh yeah, one of the topics. This has been a very like all over the place stream. One of the topics I want to talk about as well. We touched on it just a little bit. D&D is kind of just at their biggest low they've been in years. Like 2024 did nothing, and D&D has nothing interesting coming out, and now we have Daggerheart stealing a lot of the D&D audience. And
is it like actually stealing like a lot of? Is it? Do we know how successful Daggerheart was yet?
I mean, not exactly. It's mostly just based on media cover, which is somewhat of a shadow of like how things are actually going or not. Because to be fair, D&D as a whole has been way more successful than like what the internet might imply.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of channels making Daggerheart content, that Daggerheart content has been doing pretty good. Like we go to YouTube and just type in Daggerheart.
Because the one I've seen, granted, not like seen, like watched it. I've not watched much of the Daggerheart coverage. I've just seen that they're being made. So I saw XP to level 3 was doing it.
Like Jenny D made a video yesterday, and it's about stealing some feature from Daggerheart. 87k views, which in the TTRPG sphere is actually pretty huge.
That is.
Another channel, Nader Tot, never heard of this individual. They only have 3.5k subs, but made a Daggerheart video a month ago, and it's now at 34,000 views.
Oh.
Small channel. Granted, it's kind of a hate one, because Daggerheart isn't what you think, and I'm not a fan. But still, that interest is interest.
People are looking like I am interested if a game kind of rolls up, a game that I think is doing some interesting stuff, rolls up and then just does well. Because the real want out of a lot of this stuff should be like there's a market for something different. Because if Critical Role, like as their company, can prove, there's interest in like just more games like being made, then maybe some other companies will kind of move in as well. Try to be like, oh, wait a sec, can we be the next D&D, maybe? Try to, like, push some stuff.
Well, and the only reason why they can, or it's even possible, is purely because D&D doesn't do anything. So
Yes.
it's a very, they sit upon their throne of lies because it's just like taking candy from a baby. You just need a game that gets enough coverage, and then it's good.
A game that big shouldn't have a real possibility of like the throne being toppled.
Yeah.
Because that means you're doing it wrong. And
Yeah.
you're just like not optimizing what you should. They're optimizing from what it sounds like. The method is people who don't play tabletop games trying to find a way to make it profitable. Because just as a market, TTRPGs don't really produce money. They kind of, because it's hard to make a lot of money when you have a game where realistically a group needs to pay maybe $50 to have it. Like, that's it.
So Daggerheart, and to be fair, and Daggerheart is a game that will steal directly from D&D. Because the only people who are interested in Daggerheart are going to be people who want D&D, but from a company who actually is going to do something with it, or people who watched D&D and participated in it because Critical Role was participating.
And like, if it grabs people from that lens of even like someone who doesn't know what Critical Role is, and if it's just like, man, I really want a new tabletop game. It sucks D&D's not making anything. Oh, this kind of looks like D&D. Like, that's the vibe you can yoink of just grabbing D&D fans who just want something new and different that isn't, from D&D Beyond homebrew.
Yeah, who is working on D&D anymore? Like, the big guys working on it are now working on Daggerheart, right? Yes, they are. They were both bought up by Darrington Press, which I don't know if is a good thing or not. They've said some things that I have not agreed with in recent times.
Yeah.
But they are there. So I don't know. It's so interesting.
I hope they prove me wrong. Like, some of my like kind of shifted stance on both of them. My hope is that it was Hasbro, and maybe with this, they're like, oh shit, we can actually design things again.
Well, we can actually talk for ourselves and not just be puppets.
Because I doubt that they're going to be like, now that they're working for the company, it doesn't mean that like, oh, they're now the director of Daggerheart.
No,
They're just like now employees and like designers who are gonna work on it.
Yeah.
So my fear of any game where they're just like, what if we like did less? What if we have less stuff in here? Guys, we can't add this mechanic because it's not proven yet. Like, we have to wait till someone makes a Daggerheart video game. But like, if they just make some cool shit, like, all right. And then if anything, they just have the name thing of, now they can just be like, with the designers of Dungeons and Dragons, they're like, oh shit, I gotta buy it.
So, but yeah, like, it's been getting decent coverage, at least in the TTRPG sphere, which, again, it's always hard to talk about TTRPG games because they always exist different than other types of things. Like, they're always going to get less overall notice or appeal because just less people are interested in TTRPGs. But like, in TTRPG space, what are people talking about? For a long time, it was just talking about D&D or talking about Critical Role and not much else. But now many of the content creators are talking about Daggerheart. So it leads to believe, wasn't one the guy who said Barbarian should just be a fighter subclass? Yes.
Yep. That was the moment where we're like, do they know what they're talking about? Like, what? Yeah.
So it was like, okay, I don't know how I feel, but like, anyway, so if the TTRPG sphere is talking about Daggerheart, it has to be doing well.
Especially because like, it doesn't seem like it's having the same effect with Candle Obscura, where it seemed like everyone was coming out of the woodworks to paint this game as like the worst thing ever, where it's like, the game didn't seem like it was 100% my thing, but like, when everything I was reading and watching, a lot of the like hate felt like they were reaching.
Yeah.
They were trying to come up with the reasons to dislike it rather than like actually critiquing it. Like, oh, there were bad products that people designed review-wise.
Yeah.
But if that's not happening here, it's good, because that was a worry we had of just, is this going to be the fate of Critical Role? Like, they do a thing, and
Is
then
everyone
it's
just gonna
now
hate it because it's Critical Role? Yeah.
either going to hate it because it's Critical Role, or because it is just profitable to make things shitting on stuff Critical Role does, like whatever method and like reason they have for it. Uh, and if that's not happening, then that's cool, because I just want to see more companies kind of get that chance of like, oh shit, maybe just designing tabletop games is a good thing, a thing we like put some effort into, instead of, let's just make a D&D supplement.
So, it's good to see that people are mostly positive, but there are still some Critical Role haters, as like even just my brief search showed. So
I would be sus if all the coverage is positive. Like, I would want there to be at least something that's like, I have problems with this thing, because it means that like discussion is being had. Hopefully it's good discussion. I haven't seen the video you found, but like, it's being discussed.
I disagree, because right, if a game is like mostly good, it's a discussion if someone makes a video and they're like, I like these parts, but I don't like these parts. It's not a discussion if someone makes a video and then just portrays the game as being much worse than it actually is.
Yeah, that's always the bad one. But if it's like the good faith way of taking maybe a possible clickbait title, like the one you found, is someone just being like, oh yeah, it does things that I don't like, but here's an actual review of it. That's what I want.
Yeah,
Even if you don't like a game, I think if you review it fairly, unlike the Candle Obscura coverage, that's what I want.
I mean, to be fair, the video I saw is I'm not a fan, which is much less inflammatory than this is a half-complete game, this is a half-baked game, blah, blah, blah.
That sounds like I'm gonna watch a video of someone explaining, like, maybe they just want more mechanic to it. Maybe they just, like, there's something missing with what Daggerheart is offering. But, like, I have no reason to go in there believing it is a bad faith, I hate Critical Role video. Unlike where you could really tell with Candle Obscura.
Yeah. So it's like, with all this stuff coming out next week in Gen Con, and there might be more things, right? Fabula Ultima is not like a game that had a lot of press going into it, but was kind of like showed off at a Gen Con and really did well. So
it is a game that does really well if you get your hands on it. It's one of those games where you go through and you're like, oh, this is cooking.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, there might be some great things. D&D's on the decline, which just gives every other game more room to breathe. And so it's something where I do think, like, this Gen Con, we're going to see hopefully the beginning of the indie, or at the very least the competitors' tabletop scene.
Yeah.
Right? Where we're going to start seeing Critical Roles, Daggerheart do more, where we're going to start seeing Pathfinder and Paizo just overall, especially with Starfinder coming out, and Starfinder just being really refreshing because it's not just fantasy. You got guns, and it's got some really cool stuff. I don't think
it feels like a proper scale up for sci-fi. Like taking the framework of good rule sets and like what you can go into being like, I know what Pathfinder is, like Pathfinder's Balance. And then you have a game that's like taking the framework, taking the engine, using it in a different way, and scaling it up of like, yeah, sci-fi is going to be a little nuttier sometimes, depending on the vibe. But like the tools it's giving you look very fun.
Yeah. So it's something where I hope we're gonna see more. Now I don't think the Cosmere is gonna explode onto the scene or anything. I think it's going to do well, but not like too well. You know, like people will talk about it. I think it'll be interesting. I don't think it's a bad game, and I think honestly, it's probably one of my favorite games currently that are going to be coming out.
Just
But
from the bits we played, it left me really wanting more.
yeah,
And that's not a thing you get often with some tabletop games. Sometimes you walk away being like, I could do a short game of that. I could like play another one shot. I want to do a full campaign. I
yeah,
want to like sink my teeth into this game because I think what it's doing is very cool. And I agree. I do agree with your take of it. I think it's going to be popular for the people it is popular for.
yeah,
I don't think it's going to have as much like outside get. Like if I was gonna look at two games, which one's gonna make more money? My money's on Daggerheart because I think it has more cross appeal for people who
yes,
just aren't into tabletop games. And the benefit of doing something with Cosmere is just the fact that a lot of people have bought and enjoyed Stormlight. So I think it's going to do well with like it's a good book to pick if you were going to make a tabletop game around it.
yep.
Like something modern, but it is going to limit its like massive appeal. I hope that proves me wrong. I hope we're both wrong.
Me
Because if this game
too.
just does super well, like sweet. We can make our predictions, and then if for whatever reason we look and it's like Stormlight Archive, one of the new best-selling tabletop games ever, we're like, all right, well, let's walk this back. That means we're gonna
Yeah.
get more cool shit from Brotherwise.
Right.
And that's what I want.
Sure. Yeah, for sure. But I don't think that's likely.
Mm-mm.
I mean, you
Not
hit the
slightest.
nail on the head earlier, which is just it doesn't have a lot of crossover. People want fantasy, and they've been looking for the right type of high fantasy that fits all the things they want. Like they want to play a wizard, they want to play a witch, a sorcerer, they want to be a cool fighter, cutting down ogres, you know, all that kind of stuff. And Stormlight is just not that. Most of the enemies you fight are crab people or various size of crabs.
Yeah. The thing I can see it yoinking any form of cross appeal to is it's the side of fantasy I lean a lot more into, which is like I like me the good old classic kind of D&D style, like wizard towers and dragons and all that shit flying around. Like that's fun. That's cool. I do like a lot more kind of restrained settings. That is like my preference when it comes to fantasy. I want a world that is not ours. And like it's built in, it has its own little rules and idiosyncrasies going on. Things are explained, but it's something different. It's something different than just full on D&D style.
Yeah.
The two that I know kind of hit this is it's some of this. I think it's The First Law is the first book of the series by Joe Abercrombie. I know he hits it really well with dark fantasy, which makes me want to read that series. And like with the Cosmere, I just like that specific, less high epic fantasy. It's just restrained. I think that's the only cross appeal it's gonna get. Of someone being like, oh, finally, not just D&D 2 again. But I don't think it's gonna be much.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. My type of fantasy is give me a real organic, realistic quote unquote feeling fantasy setting. I want to feel like, oh yeah, there's not a lot of bullshit going on in this setting.
Mm-hmm.
I want to feel like if this world actually existed, this is what that world would be, you know, like,
Yeah.
This is how it would feel. The main character is a character who legitimately, like, I want characters whose superpower is extreme competency. That's what I want. I don't want characters who feel like they just are given everything or don't earn anything they actually are given.
Yeah. You gotta work for it. Because it's more satisfying when it hits. my take with stuff and with like with my preferences, I like there to be explanation. Does it have to be a good explanation? Not particularly. I like JoJo. But like if there is if a question is asked, which I also have a love I love a lot of settings that explicitly don't do this because I find it fun too. But if I'm going into like fantasy, I do want I want you to like have thought about something.
Yeah.
Like, I want you to think about why, and even if I'm like, I don't know if that would work 100% in like our world, I have a very high suspension of disbelief if the actual quality of it is good and like I enjoy it. I can just be like, all right, shit, yeah, it works like that in this world, I guess. Cool, I'm bought in. So like, I like there to be answers, and I like that the Cosmere delves into it really hard, because ever since reading through the Cosmere, all I've been looking for is another series that hits the same notes of this. Like that style where you can read something or watch something and you're like, God, I want there to be a tabletop game about this so I can play with this power. I want that kind of thing where it's giving you the hard rules, so then in your head you can gamify. You can stat it out if this was in a game, and now I can like picture how I would solve a problem when they pop up with these powers, because I know exactly how they work.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, in Stormlight, kind of yes and kind of no. It's interesting when you have a power system kind of related to having a familiar. You know?
Yeah, it is like, it's got an interesting power system with like, because yeah, you have to get a familiar bonded to you. Normally it's just like, I want to have the familiar vibe. No, you're that from the start if you go this like magic route.
Yeah, so I like Stormlight. I think the setting's very cool, and I think a lot of people could get behind the idea of Stormlight if enough content creators talked about how cool it was.
Yeah.
That's pretty much like what it boils down to, is because like the armor and stuff in the books and everything and the way some of the characters look is really, really cool. And how their powers work in general is also really, really cool. I think the setting is overall like pretty decent, except it's a very like 1980s like space fantasy kind of setting, which what I mean by that is the whole point is it's very hostile, hard to live in, and the people have to eke out a life in like some remote part of the setting.
It was inspired by Dune.
Yeah.
So, which I also love Dune, so it hits all the notes like that I want in a world. Because like I think the people who are gonna play this, either like you all the people buying this, you love Stormlight, you love Cosmere, or you have one friend who's really into the Stormlight archives and he's running a game for your group. Like, yeah, the games that are going to be ran for this game are going to be people who are like, at least one person at the table is already bought in. There's like, they're already invested in this like IP. It's going to be a lot harder for this game for people who's like, I've never heard of the Stormlight archive. I think it's a book. I don't know, man. Let's pick up this one.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
it doesn't have that appeal.
And that's the thing, right? Because like when I made my videos, I made a video, you don't have to read the Stormlight books to enjoy this game. And someone is just like, I think you do actually. And it's just like,
you don't.
You really don't. Honestly, the books will tell you pretty much everything you need to know. It is a setting, and It's
The
like,
bit that,
how much lore do you know about the D&D setting? Honestly,
not a lot. You don't know a
Right.
lot. I think the real point that that person might be trying to make is like, if you have any inkling of liking this series, you should read the books first. Like
No, that's
that
not
is
what they
the
were
thing
saying
that
at all. They're
no,
saying the only
I
people who will be interested in this are the ones who read the book. That was their whole point.
at least one person at that table, I think that's more realistic. The everybody, no. But like, I think that's the thing of it, because our group, we have people reading the Stormlight Archive because we did our one shot, we did all this, and they're like, okay, I'm in. I think this is going to be really good. And Slug's been crushing through it.
Yeah,
Slug's been sending me theories and shit.
that's
But
fun.
like, yeah, mainly because I've told her like, hey, do not Google shit. It's you have to be careful Googling Stormlight Archive stuff because you will get spoiled. And like that's where the threat comes in. I think it is more the other way around. If you play the Stormlight Archive game, you're getting things like kind of exposed of what they are, and the most fun way to take in the Stormlight Archive is completely blind. Like you don't know any of the shit's being revealed. Because like the understanding of the world's magic system, I think, is a chunk of like the story. Like that's just kind of the fun of it. If you have zero inclination to read this series, you don't need to, because Devin isn't going to, and I highly doubt he's ever going to read the Stormlight Archive.
I agree.
But like, that's not going to ruin his entertainment of it. And I think there's a lot of people who will be in that boat where they're like GM who is super into the series, or like any of that, and then a couple players being like, sick, this is fun. Or at least like, I'm finding this really fun because my GM is just way more invested than they were in like D&D like setting. So there's just going to be a lot more detail. I can see that being a large thing, spreading word of mouth, but it is just inherently going to be a niche product.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad thing either. I just want them to make enough money to make more stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. The thing is, it's fine if it's niche, if it's a niche that gets to blow up a little bit and then dies down after some time, after people are like, okay, that was cool, and they kind of do their thing. Because like the TTRPG scene in general is full of really good niche games that no one plays. Which
True.
is
I would
tragic.
be more disappointed if a thing for a world I really love compromised a creative vision for larger commercial appeal.
Yeah.
I would be more saddened by that. And I like things that are inherently like itself, uncompromisingly what the creators want it to be. And like the downside of that is inherently it's not going to make as much money as I would like it to. So my dream is that this game makes enough money for it to keep making books.
Yeah.
That's all I want. Or even just make another game down the line. Because I really, every single thing I've played that Brotherwise Games has touched, they got a knack for making some really interesting systems where it feels like they're trying to do something different, but they keep making something different in a good way.
Yeah.
Because you hear that phrase sometimes of they're trying something different, and you're like, uh-oh. Probably like that's not a great just phrase. Sometimes it's bad. For Brotherwise, every single time I think it's really interesting, like how they've iterated something. I would like them to one day make a cool TTRPG where they're clearly not making a D&D dice system because that's what sells. This game would sell worse if it wasn't, a D20 system. Like that's I think that's what they're trying to do with the appeal. They're trying to get people who are like, it's like a D&D. That's marketing.
Yeah. I mean,
I'd love if they didn't.
Yeah. I'm sure, but I don't think it exists as like a potential where the die would have changed too much, if I'm going to be honest.
I think if the game was not that like kind of surface level similar, because we played it, it's not D&D, but on the surface level you're like, okay, I've played this game before, I can get into it a little easier. I think if they didn't do that, like if they went something similar with like the Star Wars dice system, because the bunch of the people who made this game made the Star Wars game,
Yeah.
I think it would be a harder sell for people.
And see, I don't know,
And
because
like,
Daggerheart
it'd
has
be
been
fun.
doing pretty good, and it uses 2d12.
Yeah, I think it's just that balance. I would love to peer into an alternate universe because I think that is their extent of like trying to make it a bit easier for people to jump into.
It was.
Because if you,
I mean, it was stated as much.
yeah,
I'm not saying that that choice didn't help. I'm just saying that I don't think it would have been that much worse if they didn't.
I don't think the game would be a flop if they did like a different dice system that was like really not D&D, like it was something very different. I think it would be more niche. They've made it a slightly bigger niche by making it familiar.
Yeah,
that's
I don't know.
just the way I think that's like the best way I think you can do it.
I mean, the thing is, right? I doubt even you to some degree can really get into the head of casual tabletop players.
The only thing that has helped me with it is the fact I've played a lot of stuff with them, and I like chatting with casual fans and stuff. Because I've ran games for casual like D&D fans. I've talked to a lot of people at my local game store just when we've like talked shop about like the games we're doing. That is the extent where I'm hearing people give these casual takes, and I'm like, really? Like, really? That's the way? Because I mean, the one I remember the most is when we did our stream about like death in tabletop, like how to run it, where I've talked about, you do that session 0 thing of like asking what's the level of death you would want in your game. And the one that I landed on for a game I was working on and doing at session 0, they didn't want their characters to die. Like they would like to finish the game with those characters, and they were just as invested as if I was going to like kill their characters in that moment, because to them they wanted to have the story of like, I'm the main character of a book, because like you're not going to go in there immediately thinking your protagonist is going to die.
Yeah,
there's a reasonable chance they're going to live. That's what they wanted. It didn't suck it out of them. I think a more serious like a tabletop fan, that's a really hard thing to wrap your head around. And there's a lot of takes they gave me that like the take of like, I need that level of like investment, because there's no stakes. If death isn't a threat, then like there's no stake.
I mean, I don't know. I've heard a variety, because I used to run games regularly for people of all kinds, people who are interested. And you talk to people at game stores, but see, here's the thing, right? Usually the people you're interacting with are people in nerdy circles, who would be the people who would, probably be more willing to try these games. But they're probably even that much more a step above, like people who don't have a bunch of nerdy friends or aren't like into anything even like remotely close, but are thinking about trying it out.
Yeah. The only one was my college D&D group, because there were half of us were very nerdy. The other half were like, they just heard that D&D club was a thing, and they were like, I've heard of D&D, let me try this out. And they've done nothing, like they're not into this stuff, and they just got into it because they liked the group and they thought the game was cool, but like they were not like nerdy. Grant, everyone I've talked to at the tabletop store, no, they're a bit more invested in stuff.
Yeah, so like it's hard to know a lot, and how much of them are like internet cosplayers, do you know?
Like actual cosplay stuff?
No. People who get invested in an idea or a thing that they actually don't actually participate in, because a lot of the D&D and overall tabletop community, because of D&D, are people who fantasize about playing tabletop and never do.
One of them. One player in that game, because I don't like her, so I can be mean, because I don't have to interact with her ever again. She liked making OCs. She didn't like playing any form of tabletop.
See, and those are the kinds of people that are in the majority, I think.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to know exactly what someone like that would think for us. because we're not. We, one, we're not weird like that. We're not that kind of weird. We're not the kind
I
of
think
people.
a chunk of them probably just don't physically do it. They probably bump up the numbers for like online discussion things. Like this person only did it because she was dating one of the players and then was like sad she could be left out of this. Fair feeling, but also was doing it for a hobby that she just blatantly did not enjoy. She did not like the game of D&D.
No,
just
no.
tabletop
Like,
in general.
when I say internet cosplayers, people who go online and act like they're in all these kind of games or act like
aren't.
But they aren't. They're just like they're just like, oh yeah. I mean, we haven't actually played, but me and my friends, we've been sitting and talking about what we do if we had characters, and all that kind of stuff. And like, there's a lot of because you'll go online. I see them on because I follow some people on Twitter who are in the tabletop space, and you'll see a lot of these people who scream, internet cosplayer for tabletop, because a lot of what they say or a lot of the things they're super excited about are just not tabletop things and not like happen at anyone's table.
There's a chunk of those where it is like the person I've met. I'm very happy I don't know anyone else like this in my personal life. It is people where you look at and you're like, I think you would just like fanfic. I think you should just do that. Maybe write short fiction. You'd be into it. Instead of like endlessly just being like, oh man, I swear, I'm so into this game. I haven't like read the book at all, like, or I haven't touched it. I watch videos on it, but like I think the idea is cool. I'm gonna talk as an authority.
There's this one like animated D&D thing about like a failure party. I can't remember what it's called at this moment, but it's got like a rogue ex-noble guy who wears an eye patch. It's got orc barbarian girl who actually wants to be more girly, a kind of high-strung druid, a bubbly tiefling. I don't even know what class she is. And a halfling who just is kind of like who's kind of just like, I guess, manipulating the party in a very subtle way just by acting like he's an idiot.
I have seen one bit of this on TikTok, and I have no clue what it's from. All I've seen is a clip of them from like on a carriage where they're talking about like just barely got around a dragon.
Yes.
Like they just barely fought the dragon, but they ran away from it.
Yep.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know which what that is called. I've just seen that TikTok.
Yeah. And that has been doing super well from what I've heard. And from what I overall understand, that, well, I watched some of the clips. I watched some of the shorts. Like, they show up on my YouTube every once in a while and all that kind of stuff. The way those characters act are like overly cartoony and like overly like played up because it's entertainment. It's an animation, right?
Yeah.
But they act in a way that is the very stereotype, like, this is how you play D&D kind of style. And that is what I imagine most people imagine how their games will go.
Yeah.
And how they design their characters and stuff.
Yeah, that's how you would write for like an animated series instead of like writing for a game. The difference of like, this is my character for an actual play where we're gonna sit down with them for hours, because like when you write a character like that, it gives the idea of it, and it builds up that impression of it. But like, that's not how it be. If you want a real take of how tabletop works, go watch one of the live plays on YouTube that have like 200 views. Don't
go watch a live play that is not Critical Role or Dimension 20.
Yeah, or Legend of Evantris, because sorry, you're not as funny, you're not as good of an actor, and
That's
like
true.
You're not making as good decisions as like they would, all of them being trained in like different ways. Go watch a really low view actual play to see how real people would like play it. without like a specific, very interesting skill set. Because that's why I like Dimension 20. I like that they're all improv comedians who I've been following for a while. Because I think improv comedy works really well for like tabletop.
Like in the best circumstances, I would say more of the idea of what people are thinking tabletop are more like on Narrative Declaration. It's one of their more recent groups. One of them has Joe Cat in it and some other content creators. It's they're playing Kingmaker, that campaign that we're actually playing through in my wife's game. That's kind of more of like the general, like, okay, we're kind of goofy and we're just here to have fun, even though some of them are like hardcore tabletop players, like, you know, Zoran the Wizard, and Joe Cat to some degree, for sure. He definitely plays a lot of tabletop, so
yeah.
Rusthenge. Is Rusthenge what it is? It's the one where he's playing like a big babushka. Okay, it's the Rust crew currently. And I guess because they were playing Kingmaker, and I think it didn't work out, and so they took some of those players and put them in Rust crew. Because I do remember that same exact character in the Kingmaker one they were doing. Oh no, it wasn't the same character. Similar, very similar type, but she was green rather than blue. And I guess she's a human now rather than, I think, going to work. Okay, a different game. Eclectics is what it was called. And they don't seem to have been doing it, because the last episode was in 6 months ago, so. Oh, Patreon series. Interesting. But anyway, like, Rust Crew is very much how I imagine, like, a lot of people would like their games to go. And probably how a lot of people who do kind of play do, like, think about that. But it's, like, it's really hard to know what the casual average tabletop player is nowadays, because there's so many people more than used to be. And, you know, the people who were in the niche before are just in that niche. It's just now technically a deeper part of the niche that was expanded. So I don't know what people will think about a D20 game. I don't think a lot of people who are getting into a game for the first time are going to care if it's a D20 or not. People who play D&D who are upset because they're not rolling a D20 anymore, I don't think really like tabletop and just like the idea of tabletop.
They like the idea of D&D.
Because in actuality, right, there's not really an actual difference if you're just casually in it. It's not more cumbersome to roll a different die. And you have to really, really care that it's a D20 to care whether you're rolling a D20 or not. Daggerheart has really shown that people don't care.
It's the bit I only can see is I think there's the easier buy-in for people who are like in that camp of I only play this, I only play D&D, and then you're like, oh yeah, this game's kind of similar to it, and you're like, oh, okay. But yeah, I think if you're just a regular, like, you've never touched this stuff, you're just getting into it, or you're super casual, you're getting over the fact that you're not rolling D6s. That's what every board game uses. You're just like, hold up, they make other dice?
I don't even think people care. Especially because not a lot of board games actually have custom dice and stuff like that. So,
I mean, I'm coming from my own experience on that front, where I'm like, I heard of D&D, I knew it was a thing. all the board games I played were the very general board games where the only dice you would see are just sixes. D6s, that's it. And I'm like, whoa. They do make other shit. I only learned that a D20 existed because D&D. Like, I had no clue they made different dice. The only alternate rolling thing I've ever seen in a board game before that was the spinner for Game of Life.
Yeah, I think Sorry has 2d6 or something in a little popper.
Yeah, that one's fun too. Funnily enough, that's what my parents also did the same shit. Oh, haha, I blocked that. Someone got caught by the auto mod stuff I said. Thanks. But no, when I was like getting into D&D stuff, that was the thing that my parents were the most weirded out about. They're like, hold up, there's other dice. It's like, yeah, it's crazy. Which is even funnier because my dad would reacted like that. He's played D&D once when he was a child. And he promptly didn't like it, but that later on when they did their whole like, are you winning, son? I was like, yeah. I had my D&D stuff. And they're like, this is crazy.
Oh no, because the thing is, right, those multicolored like dice sets have been in like general gaming store, even Barnes and Nobles now, for like over a decade. So
I mean, I've been in all those stores and I only saw it.
I have been in those stores too, Alex.
Yeah, I've been in there and I've never noticed until I showed up to Adventure League. Because like I got it and I was like, damn, this shit's crazy. They make different dice.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like legitimately, I don't know, and I don't think anyone knows. I think D&D's overall success in the tabletop market has nothing to do with any of the game part whatsoever.
No, it's my only point is that there is a level of you are more willing to jump into a thing if you have a level of familiarity jumping into it. It's if you have that decision of like, this has a common element. Like Daggerheart has the common element of just being a similar vibe of fantasy, and then the branding being very similar. And then if you go into a game, you're like, oh, it kind of plays like D&D. All right, I'm more willing to try this out than whatever the fuck this thing is.
Yeah,
like that's always my point.
That isn't necessarily a factor. My only point really is, how much does that actually matter to people? Because the thing is, there's been tons of games already that are like D&D. That's been kind of a thing ever since D&D has really come out in 5th edition, is games marketing themselves as being like D&D, very similar. And that has not been overall that successful for many of them. So,
maybe more successful if they didn't do it at all.
No.
I mean,
at least not in a noticeable way.
I mean, even if it's just a bit, you're still moving copies. You're moving dollars. If that is the method you do it by making it like
don't think it would have been a big enough metric and have any actual way of knowing if that was the actual cause or not.
This is a frankly unmeasurable statistic that I firmly believe in. I believe that making it similar will generate you more income than if you didn't.
Well,
because you were getting more people.
I agree to some degree, but not in the dice department. I don't think people actually care about that.
I have no way of being disproven. Therefore, I'm right.
Sorry, but you have the burden of proof.
Nope.
So.
Nuh-uh. I disagree.
Yeah. So, it's hard to know. Daggerheart is working because it captures the part of D&D that people actually like, which is being a tiefling. Being a tiefling.
Yes.
And other weird little guys like a ribbit or a clank or whatever. Like the show, like some of the abilities are kind of just theater kid cringy. It's very colorful, very, very colorful. It's, when you're looking at Daggerheart material, the only thing it screams to you about the entire setting is that it's a fantasy setting.
Yeah.
There's nothing, you can't discern anything particular or unique about it. It's just fantasy. There's not human characters like on the cover, I'm pretty sure.
There is like nothing in that game that makes me like really invested to learn about how its world is. Like the art for it seems cool and all, but like if I had to pick a lot of settings, which I kind of already have, like I think Galarian is a frankly like of the general high fantasy style games out there, I think Galarian's lore is way more interesting. But like Daggerheart doesn't have anything that makes me want to learn about it.
Yeah.
Even
yeah,
D&D has some stuff where I kind of want to learn how it works, but it's the stuff that's like 20 years old that's more interesting.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like I I think why Daggerheart is succeeding is because one, it's Critical Role, who is obviously a large market share of the D&D crowd. Like no matter
Yeah,
how the internet seems to feel about it, that's just the case. That's just how it is.
it's very popular, and if anything, even if you're not an active watcher of Critical Role, you're like, oh yeah, Critical Role, I like those fellas.
Yeah.
And it just puts your eyes on the product.
And I think its overall like aesthetic design is just that kind of like, oh yeah, this looks like an interesting fantasy game. Let's give this a try. And that's what it is. Because D&D, and you'll actually notice in older D&D like art compared to newer D&D content, older D&D art was more reminiscent of kind of like the 3.5 art style, you know, like the very, very well drawn, very grungier maybe is the word I'm looking for. It's more like almost dark fantasy in a way. It's not like very cartoonish.
Yeah.
It's darker. A darker kind of overall aesthetic and design. But when you compare that to the new Dungeons and Dragons art, it's a lot more rounded and it's a lot more softer and more appealing to the kind of kind of overall fantasy aesthetic that a lot of games have been going for. It's still got a lot of that darker tone to it. The current core book is interesting, but the dragon looks less hostile than the other one did. The characters are not necessarily in like more medieval appropriate kind of gear.
The vibe I've been seeing a lot of that stuff shift towards is
See it at Phoenix.
It seems like it's the push away from the giant amount of dark fantasy and gothic fantasy, which is my vibe. I like that a lot more. And it's a lot more reaching into the vibe of like whimsical fantasy, not like as crazy whimsical, but like there's the spectrum there, but a lot more of like the you're going to play a cool, special, interesting person in the world. Like you are a prominent figure inherently by showing up and like making your character. You have all this stuff. When a lot of the dark fantasy, gothic fantasy vibe is you are another person in this world. Like you are a person. You're disposable. You are not interesting. You're not like special. You just exist in a world that is inherently hostile.
I disagree.
When a lot more
because
that is
much of the art is very like high action and like against the threats normal people wouldn't do. I think gothic art is more designed around your character is surviving, fighting for survival. It is not easy. Your character is going through harsh times.
It is not to say that whimsy is not like there's not that level of danger, action, or like threat there. But it is the difference of like watching a fight scene in something like some cool action movie versus a fight scene in a thriller. where one of them is inherently like you feel a lot more tension in one of those than the other, where the other one is like, hell yeah, let's do it. Like that seems
Yeah.
like the vibe a lot of things are trying to hit more. Because like there's one game I just had to look it up. Because like of the art styles that catch you in a tabletop game, Daggerheart's not something that would yoink me because I look at it and I'm like, oh yeah, all right, it's not my vibe of fantasy, but fair enough.
Yeah.
There's a game called Blackbird that is with the Zweihander engine. The art for it is very cool. Like I think whenever I've gone to Barnes and Noble, that is the core book I pick up and page through because the art is really sick and it's gothic fantasy. It's like I am caught towards it. But I think when you have like a trend of something, it's always what happens. You get a trend and there's going to be kind of an opposite reaction leaning more towards it. And it seems that's where a lot of general appeal is going to like kind of high adventure, whimsy, which hell yeah, but that should be a thing encouraged if people are just liking different things. Whimsy is fun. I will prefer my dark fantasy, but you know, there are people online that I see the people very upset that of the art direction it's going in. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, well, they're also just
games.
upset that the art isn't just featuring like 7 flavors of human with rock star hair.
Yeah, exactly. I love a lot of that old tabletop art. It's real fun.
Yeah,
but, like,
I mean,
they still exist.
Art is
you know?
art, you know.
Yeah.
I can get behind liking it, and I can get behind why you would like it, but I think to like something at the price of eschewing others is a little just needlessly exclusive. So
it's always weird. It's weird to do that. You can like something just fine.
But to be fair as well, right? There is a huge demographic of it's not transhuman, but it's like it's people who enjoy the idea of playing a not human character. Even though they play those not human characters very human like, but you know.
Yeah, it's not transhumanism, but I get what you mean.
It's there's a lot of the community, a huge amount, probably the grand majority, are comprised of people who can really get into the fantasy of playing a character who is more unique looking than a human.
Yeah.
And they really get into it. Like they get art for their characters all the time. Like I said, these internet cosplayers will have tons of art for their characters that they never use, you know, or they used in one game. And that's something I can never really get behind because I like playing human characters. I'm someone who likes to I want to play a better version of me or an improved version of me or something that I can relate to in some degree. And I just can't relate to non-human characters that well.
Yeah.
I play a lot of non-human characters, but you know,
I'm like in the middle
characters.
Cause like the one I can't not even like get invested or like immersed. It's just like, if I'm going to make a character, I'm going to make something I'm inherently interested in the lore aesthetic of. Something that's just non-humanoid, I can't get around. I'm just like, I don't want to play an animal, but like, if my character concept is cool, it could be whatever. Like, I mean, I'm playing the fucking skeleton, like soon, which in that instance, I'm getting into it because I'm really invested in the idea of playing something really not human. I want the intention to be like, oh yeah, this guy, like, he has the human shape, but he's not human. Didn't used to be human. He's a simulacrum of humanity because he has observed it in other things. That is the vibe I want to go for. But to me, like, I don't know, a tiefling is just it's just a human with horns. Elf is just a human with ears.
Well, and see, that's the thing, right? Is like a lot of these players just want to be weird little guys. That's kind of just it.
You have the drive of it. That's why I say I'm in the middle, because like it is a thing. I'll make the decision. I make human characters. I make orc characters. I make all this. I'll play them the same way that if my character got transmogged into you poofed him into a genasi type, like an elemental humanoid, I'd play them the same way. Like, if you transformed him into a bear, I'd be like, this is hard. I don't know exactly how to play this, but all right.
Yeah.
But I'm not the same as like the guy who's like, I have to play a weird little gremlin rat guy.
Yeah.
I have to play this.
Yeah. And that's the thing. And that's also another reason why I don't feel like I can fully understand why any group would get into a game or another. And that's why I do think actually Daggerheart has done well, because the primary art is mostly non-human characters. There's a character with wings, there's a little frog man, there's an elf looking woman, there's a guy who could be a dwarf or not, I don't know. There's an obviously tiefling, there is something
I like
else.
the robots. I did get drawn to the robot because I was looking at it and I'm like, I get to play Clank from Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, to be fair,
that's what I wanted.
That would be another type of character I would like to play though, is like an automaton style character.
Yeah, like it's fun. Like that is, I can engage in little guyism on from time to time. I'm not a little guy purist. I dabble. It's like, it's fun. It's not something I would ever do for an extended campaign, but like if I'm doing a one shot, it sounds like a good time.
But the kind of whole reason why I brought this around, we're ending stream here soon, but
yeah.
Stormlight Archive has almost no little guyism in it. Like almost zero. Like
no.
Whether it uses a D20 or not, I don't think will make a difference, because you can't make the little weirdos that people like to make.
Shit. Oh shit. Because one, you're right. You were correct. I think that if the game wanted to be commercial appeal, it should have little guys. Here's a point. Brother-wise, make rules to play Spren.
Oh, yeah.
Let me show up to a table as a Spren bonded to another player. But like that would work. That would hit the vibe people want. If they're looking at it like, I don't know, like none of this is jumping out of me. I'm sorry. I can play a little wind spirit that plays pranks. I want to do that.
Yeah.
Cuz like they have things they do, and like you can probably like you can have mechanics for a character that's like not taking part in combat. They're already proving that's one of the things they want to do with the game. So brother-wise, make Spren rules. that might boost sales, like unironically.
I mean, yeah.
Not a lot, but it'd be funny.
I do think that more than the D20 would help in greater ways. Like and this is the thing, right? And this is the part where I struggle, because I don't care about that whatsoever. If a game had only human characters, like Anima, for instance, I'm just as happy as in a game like Dungeons and Dragons or Pathfinder, where there's so many not human characters. Because to be honest, I don't care what anyone else is. I don't know why anyone would feel that they would care about that anyway, but some people do, because they're weird.
People who get really weird about what ancestry you play, I don't trust.
Yeah, usually
they're like they're a step away from being like a weird type of racist I don't want to talk to.
Yeah. But like, I just don't, I don't get the appeal. I don't understand. Well, I understand, but I don't feel it. I can't sympathize as easily with it, because like an automaton is the closest I get, but that's because I like how the automaton conceptually works, and like, oh, I love a character who can do all kinds of cool stuff with their body and everything. Like in Pathfinder, automaton is really, really cool. I really, really like it. I'll probably play an automaton at some point.
I have an automaton barbarian that I want to do at some point. It sounds fun. They have some cool feats.
But like beyond that, I want to envision myself in the shoes of my character. I want to be able to live in that moment and everything like that. And that visualization kind of just stops at the non-human elements. And a lot of that is just like, I imagine how my feathers feel, and it's just like, I'm only imagining this because I want to imagine having feathers. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, because okay, purely because I'm just curious where your mind space is. Uh, is the scene the same if you have that in that moment and you're like a dwarf? Like, is there a fundamental difference there, or is it specifically when like a non-humanoid shit gets?
Um, Even with a dwarf, it's a little bit different, and a part of that is just like envisioning the scene aesthetically, because of being a dwarf. I can only imagine how my body would feel at that size, and that takes me out of it a little bit.
Okay, because like where you're describing of like I'm playing a bird person, describing how my feathers feel. That's where my thing is like I don't know. I'm not. That's something I'm never going to play into because I'm not going to think about it.
Yeah.
But then like my blocker is there because I can't find the difference between playing like an elf, a dwarf, and a human. Like that, I get it. I get what you're talking about. It's just the scale of of human to little guy. Like where do
Yeah.
you land? Some people are more firmly on one. I think I'm a little bit more leaning towards human, but I'm somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, elf, I definitely don't have any problems whether they're an elf or not. And I played a lot of half elf characters, so
They are just you just kind of got pointier ears, better eyes, and you live longer.
yeah.
Like it's kind of it. So I get that.
But dwarf,
Oh.
dwarf is hard because I can imagine how it would feel being a dwarf, and that is different than how I feel doing things. So like the biomechanical differences just make it a little difficult. I like dwarves because I am Scandinavian and just kind of have to by law, but at the same time, I like dwarven culture. I think a lot of it is actually pretty interesting.
A lot of it's very fun. Uh, you know, there's the appeal. There's the appeal of being built like a brick shit house.
Yeah.
Like that's the appeal I think of dwarves is like the idea of like push me over, little man, and they just can't because you're just built like that, but you're 4 feet tall.
Yeah. Yeah, like I could stretch it in some ways where it doesn't feel as weird, but like I have a very vivid imagination in like every sense. And so how my body moves and like the different things, and like I can imagine how clothes feels on certain types of characters. I can imagine how like if you were to play oh goodness, the quill ones in Pathfinder,
Okay, yeah.
the Shisk. I can imagine how it would feel having those quills. And so when I'm envisioning a scene and when I'm envisioning things happening, the fantasy and the thing I kind of want to lean into will sometimes just clash with those physiological differences, making it more difficult.
Yeah, because I definitely do not have that vivid of it. I can just detail a personality really well. Once it gets to like the visual shit, it gets hazy. It could all be the exact same.
Yeah, I have reverse aphantasia.
Yeah.
I can envision too well sometimes. And that makes it hard because it makes it sometimes where the character isn't feeling appropriate in the moment, even though everything else is fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, very off-topic stream. And to be fair, it's really hard to be like, well, things will be really cool next week and talk about that for 2 hours.
If Pathfinder, if Paizo sent you the book, this would be a battle cry hype stream.
Yeah, it would. But you know, we'll get there. I'm sure. I'm sure the book will get sent to me at some point, and we will be able to chat about it. But like the next couple streams are just going to be talking about new games, and that's going to be really hype.
Yeah, so. I'm so pumped. I'm excited for what we got on the docket.
But yeah, I think we're going to be good for now. Alex, anything you want to leave us off with before we end today?
Yeah. If you like lore videos and lore content for games, that's what I do on my channel. It's Glue Boy. I recently put out a video on Sanguinius, a nice remake of a video that was very scuffed 2 years ago. It's a lot better, which is funny that I did this, because apparently there is a trend with Warhammer content where it does really bad in the summer. It's like a known trend, and I only learned about it recently.
That's
so
unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, like, whatever. I just would have altered when I did this. But coming up, I got some nice content on World of Darkness, like the larger World of Darkness lore. So it'll be very cool. I'm gonna record that here very soon. I like just finished the script. I think tomorrow I'm just gonna touch up and make sure it's really good. So yeah, keep posting on that channel. Next week I'm gonna make a really cool, probably longer video. It'll be hype.
As for me, I'm making content currently, but it can't come out till next week because of various embargoes. So,
yeah,
next week and for the following weeks, a lot of stuff is coming to the channel for the first time in like 6 months. Woo! Exciting.
I'll be hype. I'm excited.
I got a lot of stuff. As soon as Battlecry gets sent to me, I'll be making content on that as well. Hey, thanks, Light, for the follow. We appreciate you. So stay tuned, subscribe, do whatever on whatever platform you're on. We have guests coming next week, probably. So that's going to be really cool. I mean, I say probably because you never know, but
yeah, you just want to be careful in case something gets changed last second.
Yeah. Regardless, next week's going to be great because we're going to have games to talk about. So
yeah, so pumped.
So next week is really good. I'm going to be talking about Starfinder, Pathfinder, Cosmere RPG, the Stormlight Archive one, and maybe more. We might just discover new TTRPGs over the course of Gen Con in the coming weeks. So it's definitely a great time to be a tabletop gamer. But with that, we're going to go ahead and say goodnight.
Good night.
Good night.